Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and it's Monday, and Monday means it's vlog day. And this is vlog number 49 for Monday, December the 18th, 2017, and I hope you had a good week. And for those of you that tuned in last night to Stephen and Walter Live, thank you for doing so. I know a lot of you weren't able to tune in last night because of course, you had commitments. It's that time of the year. There's things going on and people to be seen and people dropping in and things like that. But that's okay. We missed you. But of course, you can pick it up on the rebroadcast. And I've put the link below, as I usually do. So, what am I up to this week? Well, first of all, need some coffee. And what are we going to talk about? Well, a couple of projects I've been working on. I've done a whole video on this, so I don't need to talk a lot about it, and the link again is down below. But this is a tunnel card. And as you can see, it has layers. As you open each page, more of the layer is reviewed, and you can see right through to the last page. Not a new concept. I've had this on my list to do one of these for a long time. I was going to do it as an album, actually, a tunnel book, which you could do. But Heartfelt Creations, and I explain this in more detail in my video, I have come out with pre-cut pieces that you can very easily assemble this. But I took the pattern from those, programmed it into my Cricut Maker, and I can cut this out anytime I want. And I've made it a link. In the video, you can find the link. So if you have a Cricut Explorer Air, or any Cricut really, you can, well, any Cricut that supports the new design space. So I think that's the Explorer and Explorer Air, and of course the Maker. The pattern is there for this. The cut files are all there. So you can cut it out and make your own. It does the basic book. And then you add all your embellishments. And I just used things from scrapbooking paper that I had put together. But I think it turned out pretty nice. And not hard to do, kind of fun to make. And as I said, it could be a card, it could be a little book, whatever. Makes a nice gift, I think, for somebody. And what else have I been making? So I learned something on the weekend looking at YouTube videos. Apparently, excuse me, I don't know why it is. Mondays, nose runs for some reason. I've discovered on YouTube that some people in home decor like to put things, scatter things all over their table to dress it up. You know, in the fall time you put leaves down or things like that. Not a new concept, I know, but I got thinking about this and I thought for my Christmas table, when I do Christmas dinner, I would do this, what they call table scatter. So I used my Cricut and I cut out from Cricut glitter paper these little snowflakes. And I'm just going to throw them all over the table and, you know, it just brightens it up, sparkles it up. And along with these, I made some Perler Bead snowflakes. Here they are. There's one and another one. And you know, I'm really getting into these, really into these Perler bead things. So these are going to be table scatter as well. I thought about hanging up like mobile, you know, you can put a little hole in them and you can make a mobile out of it. I might still do that. I don't know, because I got these other glittery ones, but I think they'll look good with the glittery ones too. But I'm really getting into these Perler beads in a big way. And when I say a big way, I mean a big way. So I made this butterfly yesterday. The Perler beads are actually, there's a lot of beads in it. It takes some time. I think it took me, from beginning to end, a couple of hours to make this. But I really find these are a lot of fun. In fact, so much so that I ordered thousands more beads. I did make a mistake the first time I got them. I ordered a 6,000 bead bucket of multiple colors. Walter spent 2 afternoons sorting them all out into their colors. Now, he likes doing that kind of thing. To me, that's tedious. I wouldn't have done it. In fact, he likes it so much, and this was his idea. He says, you should order another bucket, but the really large one. So I did. Last night on Amazon, I ordered the 22,000 bead bucket. He is going to regret ever bringing this up to me. But in the meantime, I've also ordered a whole bunch of single packages of 1,000 beads in each one of the basic colors. Those don't need to be sorted. But what I am finding out is that pieces like this and larger ones, you go through a lot of beads. So I'm really exploring the possibilities of this art form. And this, I'm not going to hang it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate it on a canvas, a mixed media canvas. I might do the whole canvas as in perler beads kind of a thing. Do some abstract things and mount this on top. I don't know. They're a lot of fun. They're easy to do, and there's so many things you can do with them. So anyways, that's what I'm working on these days too. Also been isolating a few videos on making various styles of pouches and bags and tote bags and things using, to sew, because I'm really into that. And yeah, I love my serger. Boy, I saw we're watching videos again last night, and I got hooked into some videos about various sergers, and I guess the new sergers, a lot of them, the more high-end ones, have automatic threading for the loopers, because the loopers are a bitch to thread, I can tell you that. In fact, right now my serger has red and green thread in it because I was making my Christmas napkins, but I think I'm going to switch that out when I feel in the mood for threading my serger to either a white or a light gray thread, which basically for a lot of the things that I'm going to be sewing or thinking about sewing, those colors would work just fine. Because I don't want to keep, quite frankly, I don't want to keep rethreading my serger. But anyways, I've got some projects I've seen where people are making some neat bags. And so I'm going to try that. And I'm going to try that with my homemade printed fabric. And a lot of you have given, since I've done that video, have given me some excellent suggestions for printing my own fabric and like materials I could use that'll give me better results, makes them washable. And also there's a site or several sites, I guess, on the internet where you can send them your design and they will manufacture the fabric for you. I'm going to explore that probably later today just to see what the cost is involved, because that would be really cool. You take one of your art journal pages or something like that and have it all made into material for a project. That would be very, very unique, I think. I imagine it's very, very pricey as well. So we'll see. But anyways, I carry on with my experiments on these kind of things because I love to experiment. So that's the things I've been up to. And let's go on. Speaking of experiments, and I think it was with this particular two guys called the Crafty Lumberjacks on their YouTube channel where I learned about table scatter. You've got to check these guys out. They are a scream and a half. But here's my review. This week's YouTube channel is by a couple of guys called the Crafty Lumberjacks, and they are hilarious. They're two guys that live in Queens, New York, and they do all kinds of DIY types of crafts. Many of their crafts are a little bit on the more simple side, but what really makes this YouTube channel fun is the personality of these two guys. They are on HGTV YouTube channel as well, and they've been featured on the American television show The Chew. But they have some interesting ideas, and they're just fun to watch, especially their little dance routines. So you must check those out as well. So if you want to laugh and you want some inspiration, then do check out the Crafty Lumberjacks. So as I said, those two guys are a real hoot. They're funny. They're quirky. Check it out. Do check out their little dance routines as well. They are just you know, have a couple of drinks, watch those guys, you'll be happy all night, I can tell you. Okay, and I've got the link to their YouTube channel below as well. Let's see what's on. Okay, now we're to what's pissing me off this week. Okay, I really didn't have anything that was pissing me off majorly, and lately my pissed off segments have been a little bit serious. So I was thinking this week, I don't really have anything to be pissed off about, but then I went to the drugstore. I was out of hair gel. You think this just happens naturally? It takes a long time to look this good, really. And just as an aside, here's a tip. If you always want to look good, always be sure to have friends that are fatter, uglier, and stupider than yourself, and you will shine. Okay, just a little philosophy for you, cost you nothing. Okay, but back to what's pissing me off. So, I'm in the Shoppers Drug Mart, I'm looking for my hair gel. Now the first thing is, I hate the fact that manufacturers keep relabeling and reinventing their products. I have been using this one particular hair gel by L'Oreal, Studio Line, number 3, comes in a jar, and I've been using that for quite a few years now. So, I was almost out in Shoppers Drug Mart, thought I'd pick up a jar of it, and I'm looking high and low. I can find number 2, I can find number 4, I can find ones for distressed hair, I can find ones that want to give you that just out of bed look. Why would anybody want a hairdo that they purposely have styled to look like they've got bedhead? I don't get that. But apparently there's products for that. And then there's stuff that's called wax. All these are by the same company, all by L'Oreal. Some for super dry hair. Super dry hair. And then there's stuff for oily hair. Then there's stuff for dyed hair. And then stuff for gray hair. And then there's stuff for no hair. Well, what do you call that? A buffing bar? I don't know. So many. But the one that I want, that I've been using for a long time, is nowhere to be found. Well, I actually did find something that had the number on it, and it said they had a new funny name for it. Can't remember what it was. But it came in a tube, not in a jar. And it looked like more of a liquid. The other stuff I had is more of a light cream kind of a thing. So anyways, I tried to find whatever was the closest to it. So I bought the number 4. The number 4, I forget what they said, sculpting paste or something like that. You know, make your hair into a Picasso, I guess. So and it was a small jar. It only came in one size. The jar I was used to buying was about this big. I mean, this stuff isn't real cheap, but it's not that bad. I think a jar that I was buying before I was paying, I don't know, $6 for, something like that, $5.99. This stuff came in a little jar that was a quarter of the size, and it was like about $8.99. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what makes this so special from the others? So I thought, and I don't usually do this, but it didn't have any kind of protective seals on it, so I thought I'll just unscrew the lid and take a look inside to see the consistency of it. So I open it up. What do I find? Well, yeah, it's a thicker paste. It's almost like wax, but there's a big old fingerprint right stuck in the middle of it. Someone had taken their finger and went, like drew their finger through it. Probably, oh, well, don't want this. And then put the lid back on, put it on the shelf. Now, if I had not opened that up and had seen that, I'd get home and I'd be ticked, because I don't want somebody else sticking their paws in my hair gel. You don't know where their hands have been. Also, I don't know if I could have taken it back. I mean, I suppose I could take it back and say, look, I opened this up, there's a fingerprint in it, but you know, it's my word against anybody else's word. And they probably would have replaced it, because really a lot of the times store policies are, yeah, not to worry, we'll just replace that. You know, it's more of a hassle than anything. And I suppose they figure that if you want the same product, you probably didn't do that yourself. You didn't put the finger in it. So anyways, I bought one that hadn't been, well, I opened the next one up. Of course I had to open the next one and check it to see that nobody had stuck their grubby little hands in it. But that did start getting me thinking about, you know, everything that people touch. And the grocery stores are the worst for this. Have you ever watched people in the produce department? They squeeze, they punch, they poke, they listen to it, they smell it. After they've mutilated this thing in their hands, like this green pepper that they've thumped and smelled and squeezed and poked and the whole bit, they put it back in the bin and take a different one. Now I'm thinking, well, my mother always told me, she said, fresh fruits and vegetables, always make sure you thoroughly wash them before you prepare them for eating. I can see why. I used to think it was because, you know, like pesticides and things like that. And yes, of course, there is that to be taken into consideration. But it never dawned on me about people handling the stuff. Now, okay, having said that, I guess I'm sort of guilty of it too, because that's how you tell if something's fresh or not. So, yeah, I have picked up a green pepper and mulled it over, and if there's marks on it or there's a part that's kind of squishy or something, I put it back down, I take a different one. So yeah, I'm just as bad. I do that. But I don't stick my finger into these things, and I have seen people do it. Like, here's a good one, okay? When cantaloupes, you know, in this country, we call them muskmelons. Well, maybe not everybody in this country does. My family used to call them muskmelons. I don't know why we called them muskmelons. But anyways, cantaloupes, you know, the orange things, the melons, okay? They're kind of hard on the outside, right? So I guess the way that you find out whether it's ripe or not is you can thump it, or you can take your thumb and press it onto the bottom, I guess it's the stem end, or maybe the opposite of the stem end, I'm not sure, but anyways, that bottom part, and you just press it with your thumb lightly, and if it like sort of has some give to it, you know, it's kind of soft, then that's an indicator that the melon is supposed to be ripe. Okay, that's fine. But I have seen people do that, and sometimes the melons are a little overripe. They've been there for a while. And I've seen people go in, take their thumb, push it into it, and half their arm goes right up inside the melon. They got like, I'm wearing a melon. And so they just pull it back out and put it aside and pick up another one. So then you come in there and you start looking for your melon. And you're picking them up and you turn them over, and it's disgusting because someone has already poked a hole in your melon and they're starting to rot. So, you know, really, people, you know, okay, I guess you know that it's ripe because your thumb went into it. Okay, you want a ripe melon. That's the one. Take it home. It was your thumb that went in it. Don't leave it for somebody else. And other things too. You know, I'm always very suspicious of the people I see eating in the grocery store. They just take a bag of cookies off the shelf, put it in the cart in front of them, munching away on their cookies out of that bag as they're doing their grocery shopping. Now, I often wonder, do they actually pay for that bag of cookies or not? Now, I have seen some people do this, and they go up and they pay for it and whatnot, but are there others that don't? Or are there others who want to sample? You know, have never had that one before, don't know if I want to buy it, so they sneak one out of the bag to try it, close the bag back up, and put it back on the shelf. Now, that's usually an easy way to detect that because these bags are all sealed, right? So you know, if you take a look at the bag, you can usually tell that somebody has opened it up. But you know, there have been times when I haven't been that careful. You know, oh, there's that in the cart. It goes. And who knows? Some of my cookies or whatever have been eaten already by somebody who is a little snacky in the grocery store. You know, that kind of drives me nuts. The people handling things all the time. But you know, I guess, I mean, I've never eaten out of anything in the store. That kind of disgusts me. People who are eating while they're grocery shopping. I don't know. Can't you wait, you know, really, to get home, or eat before you come? Besides, you'll buy less if you eat before you come. But this poking. So, you know, you got to really think about it when you're doing your shopping. What about clothes buying? Okay. Now, yes, you got to try on stuff. I mean, I don't buy anything anymore without trying it on because I swear these manufacturers, what what says it's a 34 in a waist in one brand of jeans is not the same measurement as a 34 in another brand of jeans. So you got to try them on. I think these sizes on clothes are just a suggestion. You know, this might be a 34, it could be a 40. I don't know, try it on, whatever. But think about this, okay? Think about bathing suits, okay? Men don't usually try on bathing suits, I don't think, but I think women do, because you can't return a bathing suit once you've bought it for hygiene reasons. Okay, I get that. But do I want to buy something off a rack that possibly somebody else has had on their body? Now, I know I've heard people say, at least women, that, well, you don't actually, if you try on a bathing suit, you try it on over sort of your clothes. You know, I don't know if that makes it any better or not. But then it makes me worried about underwear. Well, let's not go there. Let's not go there at all. Or shoes. You know, you go in, you try on a pair of shoes. How many people's smelly feet have been in that pair of shoes before yours? But again, you're caught between a rock and a hard place, aren't you? Because you really have to try on shoes. You know, same thing as with jeans. You know, it may say one size, but they all fit differently with that. So I guess, now I do notice though that in the summertime, especially when people might be wearing sandals and they come in and try on shoes, if I go in to try on shoes in the summer and I'm wearing sandals or something, I will take a pair of socks with me. And I have noticed that in a lot of footwear stores, they have little half sockies that are right there that you can put on to try on a pair of shoes, you know. Only thing is, how many other people have had that little sock on? I guess there's no escaping it. You're going to make a connection with somebody you don't know with whatever you buy, because somebody else before you has tried it, has had a piece of their body in it, on it, through it. I don't know. So I can't do much about that. So how do you cope? I guess you don't think about it. Simple as that. And when you get home, wash it, whatever it is, and make sure you wash your hands as well. So anyways, sorry if you're a poker, squeezer, thumper, eater, whatever out there. Only thing I can say to you is, if you're doing that, somebody else has already done it before you. Ha ha. Okay, enough on that. Moving on. Okay, technique tips. Well, I've already talked about the perler beads and everything that goes with that, but I do have some news, and I mentioned this last night on Stephen and Walter Live. Mike Deacon, who you know that I have spoken about many times, he's sort of a guru of art journaling. At least I consider him a guru of art journaling. He has asked me to be a guest mission inspiration agent sometime in the future. And what that means is, if you're familiar with his mission inspiration that he has every month, which is a series of prompts with colors, suggested colors, and suggested inspirational words for creating an art journal page. If you're familiar with that, you know that he's got sort of a little intro video that is a takeoff of the old Mission Impossible television show. You know, if you choose to accept your mission, blah, 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 and this message will self-destruct in 3 seconds, kind of a thing. So Mike reached out to me and asked me if I would like to be a guest agent, come up with the prompt and do the little video intro for it. And I said, yeah. And I feel very honored. He also wants to do a collaboration at some time with me on some project. And I said, yeah. I mean, maybe to a lot of people, this is nothing in the big scheme of the world. Like, it's not going to change the price of rice in China, okay? Simple as that. It's not going to solve world hunger. But it made me feel good that someone that I respect and admire and think his work is great has asked me to work with him on a project. So I'm very flattered. I'm very honored with that. In fact, well, first of all, he said sometime maybe in January, February. Well, of course, you know I'm going away in February for 5 weeks to Australia. So I mentioned that to him and said, you know, I'd love to do this. if it works into your plans, I could do it when I got back from the trip. Or I could do it in January as well. January's not that full, or whatnot. And I just got so excited with the whole thing. I went immediately right off, created the prompt, created a little video intro for it, and I even did a sample art journal, well, not a sample, an actual art journal page using my prompts the day after he invited me to do this. So I've sent that stuff off to Mike, and I have the video ready. I haven't posted it yet because I'm going to wait until I see when Mike decides that this is going to go live, the mission inspiration prompt. I don't want to put it up before then. And once it does, then I'll have mine up there as well. But needless to say, that was the thrill of the week, really, for me, that I got asked for that. So stay tuned. You'll be seeing that whenever. And I'm not sure what the collaboration might be. I don't know if he knows yet what the collaboration might be. But that will be a lot of fun too, and I'm looking forward to that as well. Okay, so new toy. We talked about it last night on Stephen Walter Live. Walter bought a new cooking toy. Walter loves his cooking toys. He bought something that is called a circulator. And what it is it works with a style of cooking salt called sous vide. Sous vide is really boiling food in a bag. It's a little bit more elaborate than that. For example, we used it for the first time the other night. Walter bought some strip loin steaks, and he took one of those steaks. They're fair size. Usually we can manage a meal between the two of us on one steak kind of thing is plenty. So you get this big plastic tub kind of a thing. He bought some at a liquidation center or a wholesaler that sells restaurant supplies and things like that. So it's got marks on it that tell you how much water's in it, you know, that kind of thing. And it's meant for this kind of cooking. Filled it with the water. You put the circulator. It looks like a big tube. And I have a video I'm going to insert right after I've finished explaining this so you'll see what I'm talking about. It brings the water up, swirls the water around gently, and it brings it up to whatever temperature you set it at. Meanwhile, you take your meat, you put it in a Ziploc bag, you put in your seasonings. Walter put in a little butter and some pepper, I think that's about all he put into it. You seal up the bag. Now, you can do it in a Ziploc. A lot of people actually will use, or in restaurants, they use vacuum sealed bags. And in fact, Walter decided that we should have a vacuum sealer. So he ordered one online from Costco. It'll come this week for that. We used to have one, a cheaper model of one, and we used to use it, you know, for things we'd put in the freezer and that kind of thing. But now he's ordered one that's a little bit more elaborate and for this cooking process. They come in handy for other things too, so, you know, it's not a one-time deal here. So anyways, you put your meat into this water bath when it gets that temperature, and you let your meat cook in the bag. Now, it looks kind of disgusting when you take it out. It sits in there it can sit in there for up to 4 hours. I think he had it in for about 2 hours. And when you take it out, your meat isn't brown. Your meat is kind of gray in color. It's not that appetizing looking. But then what you do is you take it out of the bag and you sear it, you know, a minute or two on each side. And I can tell you this, that came out beautifully. Probably the best steak that we have ever made at home. It was restaurant quality. It was tender. We like our steaks about medium rare. It came out perfect all the way through. And that is something that is not easy to do if you're cooking it on your stove or you're cooking. And guess what? That's my phone. I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that. The phone, what do you know? In the middle of all of this, the phone goes off. Of course, what was it about? Air duct cleaning. I get 3 of those a week. I am so sick and tired of those, but I've done a whole what's pissing me off about those. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, sous vide, the circulator. Excuse me. So anyways, you sear it, and it came out perfect. and it was great. And there are other things that you can do with this as well. It's not just meat. You can do vegetables and other things. So we're experimenting more and more with this little item. But, you know, as I said on Stephen and Walter Live, we need to gut our kitchen and just make it one huge long counter because of the number of appliances that we have. We have them all over the house, storing them, you know, because if you had them all out on the counter, you have no counter at all. In fact, we have way too many. We have a graveyard of old appliances that are sitting in our crawl space that we don't use anymore for one reason or another, and they really need to go. On the bucket list, clean out the crawl space. Yeah, it's been on the list for a long time. In fact, we did clean it out. This is an aside. About a year or so ago, and I filled it up again. So anyways, so that's really a great device, and I'm going to insert right here now a little video clip I did of Walter using it for the first time. So here's Walter playing with his new toy, and it's called a Sous Vide. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, sous vide.
It's a sous vide.
No, it's a circulator.
Well, there's a French word for it, isn't
Well,
there?
it's to make sous vide food, but it's an immersion circulator.
So you've got this bath of water, and you've got this thing, and it's looks like it's making the water move around, and it's heating up. And then what? You drop your bag in?
Yeah, but I don't have to. I'm not doing that yet.
Oh, okay. So you got your meat in the bag with your seasoning and everything. So this is what, a strip loin steak?
Yeah.
And you got some butter and pepper in there. And then what are you going to do? Stick it in this bag.
And then put it in the water.
Oh, okay. You sucked the air out of the bag though, did you?
Yeah.
It's just a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
And then you put it in the water. And what are you going to use these clippy things for?
Just to clip the bag on the edge so that it doesn't float around.
Oh, okay. And so then, so it heats up the water to what temperature?
I've got it set to 130 degrees.
130 degrees. So you can't put it in until it gets to 130 degrees?
Well, they recommend you not.
Okay. And then it sits in there for what, a couple of hours?
1 to 4 hours.
1 to 4 hours. And then you have perfectly medium, what are we cooking this? Medium rare?
Yeah, about medium, slightly more than medium rare.
And the whole purpose of this is to make your what? Your meat juicy and perfect?
Perfect and even cooked all the way throughout.
Okay, so this is the new toy. So we'll see how this turns out. Okay, so I thought we'd check Walter's meat. There it is in the bag. It's at 130 degrees. It's been in here now for, how long has it been in here?
An hour and 15 minutes.
An hour and 15 minutes. Doesn't it look appetizing? Not.
It's not supposed to until after you sear it.
I don't know. Is that a squirrel?
Maybe.
Or is that porcupine? Something that looks like it crawled up and died on the side of the road.
Yeah, that's not ideal. We could do roadkill, I bet.
Ooh, squirrel in a bag. Marinating in its own nut sauce. Okay, so I'll come back later when Walter's meat is done. So this is Walter's meat when it's been taken out of the sous vide. And as you can see right now, it's been cooked. It's been in there about how many hours?
2 and a bit.
2 and a bit.
Okay.
Possibly doesn't look that appetizing at the moment, but that's because then you have to take it and sear it. So now he's about to put it in the pan. Walter's putting his meat in the pan. Here we go. And he is going to sear it. And then we'll see how it turns out from there. Okay, so here's the final product. And it looks much more tasty now than it did when it came out of the bag since it's been seared. And if you look at Walter's, we wanted it medium rare. It actually came out medium rare.
Except I kind of overcooked the baked potato. But anyway.
Yeah, but we're not talking, the baked potato wasn't sous vide.
No.
It was Instapotted. So were the beans. But anyways, we'll see how this tastes. And let's see if I can cut off a piece here and hold my camera at the same time. And I can't. Yep. You try yours. Yeah. Okay. How's it taste? Delish. Walter says it's delish, even if he cooked it himself. So
I guess this is a hit with this, and we'll try more things with the sous vide and the Instapot and everything else. So, hope your dinner was good tonight.
Okay, so what else happened this week? Well, as you know, I was taking my mother to a luncheon that she had been invited to, and I thought it was a great idea to get her, out of her apartment, and to meet up with some people that she hasn't seen in quite a while. And of course, what does it do the night before? It snows, and it's really our first significant snowfall of the year. We had some snow in November, it came, it went, but this has been staying. And in fact, as I speak and I look out my window, it is snowing right now. Welcome to Canada, welcome to December. It looks, unless suddenly there's going to be a drastic change in the weather in the next week, that we are actually going to have a white Christmas. And you might think, those of you that don't live in Canada or in our area, you might think, well, yeah, don't you always have a white Christmas? No, we don't. In fact, in the last few years, the majority of our snow doesn't happen until around January. So there's been many years we've had green Christmases. It's very pretty, the snow. But anyways, my mother calls, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm supposed to pick her up around 11:30 that day to take her off to this luncheon. She's in a bit of a panic. Well, she says, it's snowing. I go, yeah, it's not a blizzard. It's coming down, at a good pace, but it's not a blizzard kind of thing. I said, yeah, so? And she says, well, there's accidents happening all over the place. Now, how does she know this? Because she watches TV. And of course, every time there is a major change in the weather, if there's snow or there's rain, it's always the storm of the century. According to these weather people, they live for this. And they get everybody all nerved up about driving in it and whatnot. This is Canada. We drive in snow. So I said to Mom, they've had the plows out, they've had the salters out, the sanders out. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Well, if you're sure. If it had even been a blizzard, I would have been going over there and picking her up because I really wanted her to get out and to socialize. And this was a good opportunity. So yeah, I went out, I picked her up, not a problem with it. And she had a really nice lunch, and I was really happy that this had come up for her because she seemed to be in good spirits going there and when she left and the whole bit. And I just wish I could get her into the mind state where she would, do more of these things. I would take her. That's not a problem. I will take her wherever. But she needs to socialize more than just, with me and my sister kind of a thing. She needs friends. She has friends, but they're all older than she is. And they have mobility issues as well. So anyways, that was nice for her. I was happy about that. So I said about the snow, I am going to insert a little video clip right here in a moment and show you what my backyard looks like. It's pretty. My backyard is basically backs onto a forested area, and it looks, snow on trees, looks really pretty. So Saturday morning it was snowing lightly, and so I did this little video. Sorry, I did it through my screened-in patio. It's cold. I didn't really want to put on my boots and everything and go wandering out in it to take a short video. So you'll see grid lines, but you'll get the idea.
Okay, I just had to take this video to show you what it looks like in my backyard. As you know, my house backs onto a park, like it's a Boy Scout reserve actually. And here we've got a little gentle snow is falling right now. And isn't it pretty with the trees? If that wasn't private property, I'd hang lights on all those trees because this would be magnificent. I am looking through the screened in part of my deck, freezing my butt off out here anyways. I'm actually underneath my deck where we have our hot tub. But I just had to show you this. This is winter in Canada. Now the only unfortunate thing about all of this is we have to shovel it and drive in it. But it is pretty.
Okay, so pretty. Yep. So what's coming up this week? Well, we have a significant event in our lives coming up this week. Our anniversary. Now, as I said to everybody on Stephen and Walter Live, being a member of the LGBTQ community, we actually have 2 anniversaries. You see, way back when Walter and I first met, we celebrate our meeting, basically, as our anniversary, the date of that. And that date is December the 21st. And we got together in about December the 21st, 34 years ago, come this Thursday. So yes, we've been together for 34 years. But the thing is, when we first got together, it was 1983. In those days, there wasn't even a hint at same-sex marriage legalization or anything like that. We never thought about it. We didn't particularly worry about it because it was just a given that that would probably never happen. Well, never say never. It did happen, and we have a second anniversary. Our second anniversary is the date of when we legally got married, and that happened on July the 15th, 2005. So come this July, we will have been legally married for 13 years. But that anniversary, we don't really celebrate that much. The real significant one in our lives is the one that's about to come up, so 34 years. So Walter's decided that we're going to do, now he's got the sous vide, I think we're doing surf and turf or whatever. We're going to get lobster. We're either going to get whole lobsters or just lobster tails. I'm leaning a little bit more to the lobster tails. We've had the whole lobsters before. I don't cook them. Oh, no. I have them boil those suckers in the store. I mean, you go to the tank and you look in and, oh, I want the one with the cute blue eyes. Boil the sucker. I could not bring one of those home and drop them into the boiling water. Apparently, now, I know they don't scream, but I think it's the air or whatever coming out of their shell when they hit the boiling water. But I mean, just, oh my God. You're taking a living thing and, dropping it in like, oh, aren't you cute? Boom, you're dead. So I'd rather not be there. I mean, yes, if you knew how all of our food is processed, you'd probably stop eating it. Again, one of those things you don't think about. And I don't think you should think about it. Just a little aside again, people are always talking about humane treatment of animals. Yes, I think so. They should be humanely treated, but they're on death row. We're going to eat them. They are going to die one way or another. But anyways, back to lobster. The other thing is a lot of work. Lobsters, cracking them the whole bit, and they're juicy, and there's butter on you, and there's shell all over the place. And usually I flip them out of my hand because they're slippery and I'm crawling on the floor looking for a claw. So really, I think I'd rather go with the lobster tail. That's where the most meat is anyways, is in the lobster tail. Now, you know that I don't like fish and I don't like seafood, but I do like lobster. Lobster and shrimp I can tolerate. Well, I like, especially lobster. But other stuff in that line, nope, not interested at all. Do not like it. So anyways, we'll probably do that, have fancy dinner, maybe have a little champagne or something like that, and then pass out. But, so that's what's coming up. We're going to celebrate our 34th anniversary. In dog years, that's a long time. Yep, that's a long time. I laugh at, another aside, I have a lot of asides today. I laugh at my straight friends who have been married and they're talking, oh, we've been married now we've been together for 10 years. And I always look at them and go, well, the first 50 are the hardest with it. And when people hear that we've been together 34 years, they kind of raise their eyebrows like, you're kidding. Yeah, it can happen. It can happen. Yeah. In fact, we know a number of gay couples that have been to get with each other for longer than us, and some just as long too. So, it's there. Anyways, what's next? Okay, final note. Okay, next Monday, which is the usual day that I do my vlog, is Christmas Day. So I probably won't be doing my vlog on Christmas Day, but I will be doing a vlog next week. Probably I'll do it on Boxing Day. Yeah, that's probably when I'm going to do it. So look for it on Boxing Day, next Tuesday. And I already mentioned this on Stephen and Walter Live. We would normally do Stephen and Walter Live at 4 o'clock our time, Eastern Standard Time, on Sunday. But this Sunday is Christmas Eve. And we're going over to Walter's sisters for Christmas Eve. So we probably won't do Stephen and Walter Live. Well, I know we're not going to do it live on the Sunday because besides, all of you people, people who tune in on a regular basis, you'll all be doing your Christmas Eve things too as well, I imagine. Or for some of you, it'll be Christmas Day if we do it then, like the people in Australia. So anyways, we'll probably do it maybe Friday night this week or maybe Saturday night. It depends. There's things we have to do this week, of course, to get ready for Christmas and whatnot, but we'll see. But it'll be sometime around there. Now, I may not get a chance to do a little teaser a few hours or a day before we actually do it. So it'll happen when it happens. If you can join it when it happens, if it's convenient for you, great. And if it's not, no problem. You can catch it on the rebroadcast. Okay, so that was what's been going on, and I hope you have a great week. This is, the countdown to Christmas Day. Everybody's going out there and getting those last minute things done and whatnot. The malls will be like crazy. Everything will be crazy. So I hope you have a really great Christmas Day and Christmas Eve and whatever else, and be safe. And I'll see you sometime next week. Bye-bye.